Hey everyone, post number 2 for 2021. Here we go. So this is as I was saying yesterday, the COVID era has given me kind of a chance to, in a lot of ways, come back to some practices that I used to have, like meditation. Qigong is something that I've been doing Qigong pretty consistently, but COVID kind of gave me a lot of time at home when I could go deeper. And one of the things that has come up as just in my memory of studying Qigong when I worked with a fantastic teacher named Chris Chappell in London. If you're in London and you're looking for Qigong, check out Chris Chappell. There's a principle of Qigong, and it's actually a principle that's sort of ubiquitous across a lot of martial arts. And it basically goes relax, follow, change. It's an order of operations for how you engage in any action or in any conflict. So in the way that it works in the martial arts is relax means before you do anything, you relax. That's the state of readiness. That's the preparation. If you're not relaxed, what it means is if you're tense, there's a way in which your opponent instantly feels your center. So if you're stiff, they instantly know they have you because they can feel where you are, and so they have the advantage right from the get-go. So you relax so that you're fluid, you're almost liquid. They can't pin you down. They don't know where you are because you're moving. You're in a state of relaxation. Follow means whatever movement they're doing, whatever direction they're taking things, you follow them. You match their movement as seamlessly as you can. You join with their movement. Even if they're trying to throw you off a cliff, the first thing you do is follow where they're taking you. Because again, this just brings us into the no resistance zone so that we can meet our opponent. And as we're meeting our opponent, we're also beginning to read them. We're beginning to feel their intention, feel the direction that they're going. So it's not passive. It's not passively going along with what they're doing, but it's deliberately not resisting what they're doing in order to match their movement, to fuse with their movement. Change is part 3. Relax, follow, change. Change is where we then change things. So after we've relaxed, after we've joined their movement, now we get to apply our martial arts technique, or we get to do whatever sort of feels like the right way of changing things. And in the martial arts, this is where the technique comes in, and there's all kinds of different techniques depending on what the situation is. But we don't apply that change until this third step. So and that's of course the part where in the martial arts, like in a successfully executed martial arts move, the opponent ends up on their back instead of you, right? So that's the idea there. But I've been thinking about this principle and just kind of revisiting it, and it keeps popping up in my awareness. And one thing that's dawned on me is that it's at least as applicable to the psychological domain and the emotional domain and the interpersonal relationship domain as it is to the physical domain. So in other words, relax, follow, change might characterize the way that we engage in an argument. It might characterize, I use this all the time. I'm aware of this all the time in having conversations with friends of mine whose political views I might not share. But so in order to have an actual impact, an actually productive conversation, relax, follow, change. It's like I'm engaging with the other perspective in a way that genuinely meets it before trying to change it. If we're just in a state of change, most of us, where we start is change. We go right to change. We skip over relax and follow. We go straight to change. And it's generally not effective. That's not a way. Most people don't respond to other people well in a conversation when that's how they're being treated. So I also, this comes up for me. I'm conscious of it, dozens of times a day in parenting, because, I have a 2-year-old daughter, and when there's a moment, a teachable moment, a parenting moment, some sort of time when I need to not necessarily intervene, but just engage, Relax, follow, change is my mantra. So the first thing I do is whatever she's doing is okay. I'm relaxed. There's no problem from this outset point. Nothing is wrong. That's the relax part. Follow. Whatever she wants to do, I give it a yes first. So that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to say yes to what she wants, but it means that I'm meeting her energy as an ally rather than as an adversary. So the way in which I enter into movement with her is in harmony with her, and she feels me pulling in the same direction she wants to go. So she doesn't experience, as I enter into the relationship, enter into the moment, she doesn't experience resistance. She's not getting pushed back yet. Then once I'm kind of going with her, then that's when the parenting moment comes in. I can apply the change. So like if she wants to dance ballet all night long, we might have to cap it at 2 or something like that, and then go change the diaper or go to bed or whatever the moment is. And it just keeps coming back to me how that makes the engagement with a young person so much more effective. It makes the engagement with our friends, family members, so much more productive. This isn't a strategy to try and defeat other people. I mean, in the martial arts, oftentimes it is, but as a psychological strategy, as a way of engaging with the world and with other people, it's not about defeating them. It's more about meeting them and actually understanding them. And on the intellectual realm, the follow portion means understanding what they're saying. It means not just understanding it on the intellectual level, but understanding what they mean by it. What are they trying to say? Why do they believe this? If we can get there, and it's not, this isn't always going to be 100%, but the intention is to get to where you can kind of perceive their understanding, because then you can appreciate it. You can genuinely intersect with where they really are instead of sort of fighting the ideas on the superficial level. And hopefully, maybe we learn something too. It's not that necessarily we know the right answer, but it's just that we engage in a process that lets us get to a productive endpoint with far less friction than the mode of engagement that just says change, that just jumps right in and tries to change from the outset. So that's my post for the day. Relax, follow, change. If we can just kind of hold this in our awareness and use it in whatever circumstances come up, if it's helpful. It's definitely a big one for me. Thanks so much for listening. Love you all. See you soon.